Hello and welcome to Convict Inc. I'm your host, Robert Rosso. So I have to laugh when I start this. Where do I even begin? So people that have paid attention to my show for the last year and a half at least know that some time ago there was a guy who has a podcast, YouTube channel, whatever, named Jimmy Calandra. And we went back and forth, and I coined the term "Don't be a Jimmy," which was "Don't be a rat." Jimmy Calandra of the infamous Bath Avenue crew, who was a farm team for the Bonanno crime family, was a notorious informant in Brooklyn or in New York City, whatever you want to say. And anyway, I had really took off on Jimmy. I was even going to start this "Don't be a Jimmy" movement. It fell through for many, many reasons. First of all, probably because of my addiction issues. But anyway, I have then come back and said that I was not going to be doing the "Don't be a Jimmy" thing, and I'm still not. This is not my intention, but it goes with the story of what happened last night. I'm in a place that's a private prison that houses federal inmates that are coming to and from different facilities. Some of them are just being held pre-trial and all that other stuff. Not a lot of guys I've ran into here knew about Convict Inc, knew about this channel, but there's some that are for sure. And some recognize my face. They say I look like Cyrus the Virus or Billy Joel in his older age. I mean, I get this all the time, especially by staff. So a guy comes in. He's my roommate, and or Celly, whatever you want to say, cellmate, roommate. And he was with me for what, since Friday? From one of the, I'm not gonna bust him out, one of the northern states that's around the Canadian border. And he was only here for actually a couple days. He came on Friday, and he left last night, which is this morning. Now, when he found out that he was being sent to Hazleton Hazleton Medium, which is in West Virginia, I noticed that he was, visibly nervous. He came in nervous, to be honest, and he had about an 11-year sentence. He's a repeat offender, and told me that he was in prison for which is 500 grams or more meth, which comes in category 21 USC B1A. That means that your mandatory minimum is 10 years up to life. So with 2 prior drug convictions, serious drug convictions, or a violent felony included, your mandatory minimum becomes 25 years. For sure, he should have been 25 to life. But if you take a deal or you cooperate or whatever, your time can be substantially lower. In his case, he got, I think, 131 months, I want to say, which is, 120 is 10 years, so just under 11 years. Anyway, first thing I asked when he came in, because he seemed a little bit nervous, was, "Are you a sex offender?" Because I'm not going to live with a sex offender. And then he said, "Oh, no," and they start talking about the drug thing. Okay, and like a lot of people, when he first comes in, he maybe suffered a little depression. He just came from being sentenced. He's going into the system, so you've got concerns. Even people that have done a lot of time before, when you start coming in new, you lose a lot of things happen, whatever. So it's understandable that he was in bed pretty much the weekend. Well, he finds out Monday. They come around and they do what's called KOPs. That's keep on person medications. A nurse will come around between 8 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock in the evening, and they'll call a list of people, and then you find out if you're leaving within 48 hours, but it's usually that night. And they don't tell you where you're going, but you either find out before you leave court, or you can find out if you write a request to the Marshal Service here, and they will tell you if they know. Anyway, he found out that he was going to FCI Hazleton. Now, so he finds out in the morning, and I can see all day he's acting a little bit funny. And we lock down here at nighttime at 9:30. The people that are being transported or transferring out of here generally get out about 11:45 p.m., and they stay out for about an hour and 15 minutes, and about 1 o'clock they take them and they process them out. Bus comes about between, I guess, 4 and 6 in the morning, and they're gone. I am a soft orderly, so I get $1 a day for, I guess, supervising or whatever you want to say. I have a pretty basic job, but I get $1 a day. But my job is I come out at nighttime, about 10:30 or 11 o'clock every night. And when the KOPs, or the guys that are leaving, are leaving, I'm out with those guys. Well, what happens is we're out, my Celly, he gets out too. There's probably about 15, 20 guys, and it's about a quarter to 1 in the morning before they leave. I stay out generally till 1 o'clock in the morning, and I can see like he was starting to sweat a little bit. And now remember, he told me, and I might have missed this because I get off. These phone recordings are harder for me anyway. He told me that he knew my channel, and he knew a lot about my channel. He never said anything about the Don't Be a Jimmy movement. So I see that he's starting to sweat a little bit. And I'm like, dude, what's your deal, man? You've been in prison before. And he looks up to me, and he's kind of a little bit teary-eyed, and he goes, I'm a Jimmy. And I just like looked. It took me a second to process. It means he's a rat. He was worried about leaving because he's a rat. Now, an informant, first, you guys don't like the term rat. And I'm not, I've said this many times in the past, I'm not Mr. like hate government informants. I chose not to cooperate. I said it many times. They offered me 2 years. I chose not to cooperate, and I got the life sentence. But I don't have this deep-seated hatred for rats. There's been times, whatever, and it's usually when the rats are bowing their chest or they're getting positions of power in prison. And that's what bothers me the most, because I think they should just do their time, stay out of the way, and just be, not try to be somebody. Anyway, so, of course, we were talking a lot about legal work in the days before, the days preceding him leaving. And, he was going over a lot of different questions about sentencing factors, about it, does he have an appeal issue? And, he was asking a lot about Rule 35. That should have raised a flag in my head. A Rule 35 is a cooperation agreement that comes after you've been sentenced. So, in other words, what he's done is he told on people, he debriefed, so to speak, and the government, 1 year after you're in custody, will file a motion and reduce your time. So I think there was 3 people he ended up telling me. One was a girl, the other 2 he didn't know. There was a girl's connection with them. But he was like asking me advice and stuff. Now, he's on his way out the door within minutes. And he's totally freaking out. And it's not like, the pod's closed. There's only a few of us out. It's not like I'm going to go out and point him out and say, oh, he's a rat, he's a rat, he's a rat. Like I said, it's whatever. And I'm going to say this, and this is in the title. What I ended up telling him when he was like panicking even more, I said, look, he's asking me what he says when he gets there, and I'm like, well, dude, they're going to run your paperwork, more than likely. It depends where you go. And what I mean by that is when you enter a prison, it depends where you're at. Totally depends on the facility. You'll have guys there that are unit orderlies or shot callers or whatever, and they have ways to find out if you're an informant. A lot of FCIs do not. When I was in M Block at Terre Haute, I can find out in a heartbeat. And a lot of times the counselors and case managers will tell. They didn't want sex offenders in Terre Haute when I was there, so they'd bust out a sex offender in a minute, not necessarily people who cooperated. But anyway, so what I end up telling him is just realize that you're the majority. And I know people don't like that or don't want to hear that, especially guys that have been in United States maximum security prisons. They'd probably be hearing this going, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about, blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. As somebody who was starting off doing prison consulting, that's where I was headed. I did read a lot of stats. I do know a lot of stats. And by far, show me 10 people, two have not cooperated. I'm going to say that again. Actually, I think it's something like, with guilty pleas, I think it's something like 7 people pled guilty, and those guilty pleas lead to arrest. Any lawyer, any judge, any prosecutor knows what I'm saying is true. It's a rare day these days when people do not cooperate, and that's the God's honest truth. So I just told him to, what am I going to say? The guy's got 15 minutes left, and I'm so stunned. And really, I was like busting up inside because I haven't even heard the term "Don't Be a Jimmy" forever, and it just it just shocked the shit out of me to hear that because he watched my channel. I mean, what do you say to this guy? He's not a small guy. He's nervous for sure, but I think he can probably fight if he had to. By his appearances, he was cut up, so it was just. Oh man, I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to get on the phone and put this one out there. It was it was mind-boggling. It was fucking hilarious. I'm sorry. Otherwise, that's about it for today. And I'm not going to end by saying don't be a Jimmy. I'm not going to start all that, but I couldn't help putting that in the title too. And no, that's not my intent, is to start back about the don't be a Jimmy. Anyway, take care. Bye.